Hey, welcome back to Sacred Style. This is your man, Sekou Kessely. Listen, I know it's been a minute, but I'm back again, full swing. Hey, today we're gonna be talking about moving back to Africa. Is this for everyone? I wanna know. Are you interested in knowing? Good, stay tuned. But most importantly, I'm gonna be talking about the mindset that you need to move back to Africa. Are you interested in that? All right, stay tuned. So let's discuss this. All right, before that, please, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're new here, subscribe. If you've been around, click like and share. All right, make comments too, because through your comments we will know how to interact. We want to keep this an interactive show, keep things moving. So let's dive into it. The mindset that you need to move back to Africa, if you're ever interested in moving back, and even if you're visiting, keep that in mind. Right? Number one, be out for some cultural shock. I don't care how you've been following the latest trend on YouTube, on Facebook, all these social media, you've been watching the news from your country and all that stuff. But as long as you've been out of your country, especially for a long time, like maybe you've been out of the country for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, right? You get in there, you're gonna be out for cultural shock, definitely. Because one thing that is constant is change. Since you left, there have been many of changes, and changes are happening. So you're gonna be shocked. So if you have a fixed mindset that is like, oh, I left my country like this, and when I was leaving, this is the vision of the country that I have in mind. This is how my people are gonna welcome me. This is how they're gonna behave. That might be the case, but most of the time, you will see different things happening. Right? You'll see how things have changed over time. So keep that in mind. You're definitely gonna be out for cultural shock. You're gonna be out for like something that you didn't expect. There's gonna be a lot of surprises. Right? You cannot prepare for all those surprises. So you just go with the flow, but keep that in mind. Also, difficulty adjusting. Number two, you're definitely gonna find it a little bit harder to adjust. Especially for those of you who want to move, like taking all your stuff and just moving back home. Hey, it's for some people, but it's not for everyone. And those who are gonna be doing it, you're gonna find it a little hard to adjust. Even if you move in with your cars, you move in with everything, you go back home, you buy everything that you need to buy, you have power, because light is like a huge thing, right? A lot of people in many of these countries, like light to get power 24 hours is like a thing. Even if you have power 24 hours, you have everything that you need, you're still gonna find it a little bit hard to adjust to your environment, the new environment. So keep that in mind. Some people may not find it as hard, like some people find it extremely hard, because talking about certain countries that have mosquitoes, you have like everything else, the flies, they like I'm just picking the smaller things, but there are bigger things that you have to adjust to, the environment and everything else. So definitely keep that in mind. It's gonna be hard for you to adjust. But with your mindset being ready, you'll go in the prepare mode, like, okay, I'm gonna go, this is how I'm gonna adjust. This video is for you to like kind of guide you to what to think about. Also, it's gonna be a new system. That's number three. It's gonna be a new system, really. New system, you need to learn how to adjust into this new system. Now, the system gonna be definitely new to you. As much as you think you've been in the system before, but when you get back into the system, it's like you really have to relearn the system. In the West, we're used to doing things certain way. Like for instance, classic example that I like to give to people, when you go to pick up your money at some banks in certain African countries, you go there, you're gonna have to like talk to people like, hey, I came to get my money. How can I get my money quicker? You're gonna have to like bribe someone to get your own money back. So they have their own system there because there's long lines, you don't want to wait, you're on the move, you gotta go. Now you're gonna have to pay for that. Or you spent the whole day waiting for your own cash. You go to certain ATMs, there's no money in the ATM. I mean, in the West, you barely see that. Like, that's like, oh my God, there's more money in the ATM. Whoa. Like, but in Africa, especially in sub-Saharan African countries, sometimes that could be a commonplace. Certain countries, um, I don't want to name a country right now because I've been through a couple of them, but I've experienced that where you go to an ATM, there's no money. Um, so the system that you really have to get used to, right? You know, the way you talk to police officers, for instance, like the system there. Like in the West here, sometimes we see police officers, especially for Black minority, you know, you think officers most of the time, they're like, seem like they're against you. But in many African countries, like you're an officer who play around because they're not as threatening, right? You see yourself talking to officers back, and you know, officers actually begging you to do certain things because you give them certain amount of money or what have you. Officers come to you like, hey, police are your friend. You give them one or two $10 or what have you. Like, you know, you guys are like cool as hell. And so that's a whole different system that you're gonna have to go get used to. So yeah, it's really a lot of, it's new. It's gonna be new to you. Also, you're looking at, you need to really stop comparison. A lot of people, when they go to African countries, especially their native country, they have been out of the country for such a long time. They get in there, they just want to compare things. When I was in New York, things are like this in New York, and I expect things to be like this. My friend, that's why you move from New York to your country, and your country not gonna be New York or the West or Europe or London or Tokyo, whatever you're coming from, it's not gonna be your country. That's where they're different. Stop comparing them. You're comparing apples and oranges. Just focus in the apple that you're in or in the orange that you're in. Focus on that orange. Do what you gotta do. Right? So you need to stop the unnecessary comparison if you want to enjoy your stay and if you want to really get all the experience. This is how the people are living here. This is how I'm gonna have to live. There's this common saying that when you're in Rome, act like Romans. Period. When you get there, change your mindset, stop the comparison, and get down to work. All right, guys. If you enjoy what I'm talking about, hey, there's only one way you could do it. Like this video, share the video. We're gonna talk more because in Africa, there's a lot of good and there are some challenging things that, you know, when you move, you should be expecting. But before we get into the challenges and all the fun activities, I want for you first to start thinking how you could rewire your mind because it does matter. So the first thing you need to do is rewire your entire mindset. And how are you gonna rewire your mindset? You have to know that there's gonna be a cultural shock, there's gonna be difficulties adjusting, there's gonna be a new system, and you're gonna have to stop the comparison. Those are 4 things that you're gonna have to know first and foremost so you can start rewiring your mind before you even take that trip or before you take that final trip back home. All right, guys, know that. All right, make sure you like my video, share, make comments. Let's have fun doing this thing. Thank you so much. Peace out.